Hello, this is 13 Action News. I'm Trisha Keene. We're glad you're streaming us right now because our 13 Investigates team has some new investigations we want to highlight. Each week, Chief Investigator Darcy Spears, investigative reporter Joe Bartels, and our 13 Investigates team are out there helping you by uncovering problems that you need to know about. Here are this week's stories.
Amid the lights and luxury of the Las Vegas Strip rises the Encore Tower Suites, a favorite indulgence for California couple Ambria and Justin Lutjahan.
We decided to take off on New Year's Day just for a little mini vacation for the weekend. And we are very used to staying at the Wynn. It's kind of been our favorite place.
It was their first vacation since the pandemic broke out.
And an opportunity to do something after being sheltered for such a long time during the quarantine of 2020. So,
due to restaurant restrictions in early January, they ordered room service. When they were done,
took the tray outside.
Ambria did the same thing she does every night at home before going to bed.
Take my rings, my watch, any jewelry, and set it all in one spot.
When she awoke the next morning, she walked a few yards to the kitchen area where she left everything.
And I went to go put on my wedding ring, and it's not there.
And that's when I noticed my stuff was gone too. Then I realized, wait a minute, where's my watch?
That was gone too, as was all their cash from the previous night. A $37,000 loss, according to the police report, including their Rolex watches and Ambria's ring, right out from under their sleeping noses.
Maybe I'm naive to think that in my own room when I'm going to sleep, I'm safe, but I mean, that's the expectation,
In the police report, a Wynn corporate investigator tells Metro the room lock log showed the suite door was opened from the inside at approximately 1:49 a.m., which could mean the door was not shut all the way. Justin says that's not the case.
And I had locked the French doors with a deadbolt. There wasn't one of those flip over sides because of the style and design of the door.
But there's no record of someone coming into the room from the outside.
In-room burglaries are not necessarily uncommon anywhere in the world, no less than the Las Vegas Strip. What I do find interesting is the manner in which they're getting into the rooms and the fact that people are actually still in their rooms.
Security expert Adam Coffrin spent 19 years as a police officer in Orange County, California, with the Tourist-Oriented Policing Unit.
And these types of crimes, believe it or not, we would see quite a bit as what we commonly call as door pushers, or folks just walking down hotel hallways, pushing doors to see did they latch correctly or they locked right.
That would be after a would-be thief was able to bypass layers of hotel security. At the Encore Tower Suites,
it's got a private access. You've got to have a key to get into that. And then just to get to the elevators, you've got to have another access key to get to the elevators and then to go up. So we thought that was a very, very secure location.
Their police report cites a second event with a similar MO that happened 10 minutes after their room was hit.
When we do come across these type of crimes, then we start keeping track of them to see if they're connected.
Which Metro says is likely based on the close timing of the two January 2nd crimes.
I would say that the majority of these type of crimes are typically committed by suspects and not necessarily hotel staff.
One exception, Jeff Burke. He and his wife stayed at the Encore in November 2017 when Carlos Valle worked there as a guest room attendant. According to court records,
he took one of the hotel keys that were our spare keys that we left in the room behind us, and he took it to craft and plan and execute a crime after that, and days later.
Valle and his accomplice Jesus Cervantes were both convicted of felony grand larceny to the tune of over $100,000.
What does it say to the guests is don't take the false comfort that there's a security level that can't be permeated.
Police are still investigating the Lutjahans case, and no one from the Wynn would go on camera, but they did send a statement. Vice President of Security Todd Fasulo wrote, "Creating a safe environment involves ensuring each suspected theft is reported to Metro." He added that they routinely check room and suite doors to ensure that if the guest closes the door, they shut properly. Coffrin says there are ways around that.
Number one, you could have easily used a under the door tool. So there's essentially a tool that slides underneath the door that allows the door mechanism to be opened from the inside. which would also bypass the deadbolt.
He says thieves have also been known to electronically hack the door lock or take the simple route of renting a room themselves.
And they spent hours on the floors over the course of the evening and into the early morning hours, committing crime.
You might think with all the cameras in casinos, these crimes should be easy to solve.
Cameras in hospitality, it's a fine balance between weighing the privacy of the guests, weighing the security of the hotel, but also weighing the liability and risk to a hotel.
He says that's why most cameras are on the gaming floor, in lobbies and in elevator areas, but likely not in hallways on the guest room floors. The Wynn would not disclose the location of its cameras or what areas they cover. 13 Investigates has been tracking hotel room heists for years. After the Burks case in 2017 at Encore, a thief used a key card to break into a couple's hotel room at the Venetian in 2019 and stole $4,000 worth of personal items. And just last month, this police report was filed by locals after a staycation at the Cosmopolitan. It details another alleged in-room theft while the guests were sleeping. Thieves reportedly stole their bag, wallets, credit and debit cards, iWatch, and room key. According to the police report, there's no video surveillance available. The Cosmopolitan said in order to protect guest privacy, they do not comment on details surrounding an individual's stay. Nevada's innkeeper statute says hotels are not liable for theft of any property a guest leaves in a room where they have access to a safe.
And again, we didn't put our stuff in the safe. We didn't. We felt that in a locked room in the evening while we're there was pretty darn secure, and a very, very secure, in our opinion, hotel room in Las Vegas.
Jeff Burke sued the Wynn. His case ended up in arbitration, where he got $25,000 for emotional distress. On the criminal side, Metro says these investigations take time and often hinge on thieves pawning property they can trace back to the victim.
Take pictures of them. Take photos of your expensive, valuable items. Take note of any serial numbers.
Another way you can protect yourself while traveling.
Travel with, the little, the child or the toddler alarms that you can hang on the door.
Justin's taking it one step further.
I probably have to, going forward, to be comfortable staying at places, set up my own cameras internally in my own room so I know what happens when I'm either not there or even when I'm sleeping.
All the victims we spoke to say they hope that by sharing their stories, they convince others to take safety into their own hands. They all tell us they have no plans to come back to Vegas anytime soon because they feel the hotels are more concerned about protecting their reputation than the safety of their guests. Darcy Spears, 13 Investigates.
Welcome back, and thanks for watching 13 Investigates. Don't forget that we're online 24/7 on our website, ktnv.com/13investigates.
There are reports from multiple states that are nearly identical. Small audiovisual companies claiming they've been ripped off for thousands of dollars worth of expensive rental equipment. Now they're hoping to shine a spotlight on whoever is stealing the show. The COVID curtain call was a disaster for many.
We had on the books enough shows where we were probably going to do double what we did in 2019.
Owner Forrest Gross says Gross Live Productions boomed pre-pandemic, supplying live shows with everything they needed. Wireless mics, speakers, soundboards, and more. But a shuttered Sin City silenced his business like so many others.
It definitely was, the darkest time of our business so far.
Then it got worse.
And then just to be kicked while we're already down, it was pretty rough.
Gross says a few months into the pandemic, his business fielded a request for a rental. $60,000 worth of sound equipment for a live streamed event. Those were getting more popular at the time. The delivery was to a downtown Las Vegas venue.
So it seemed legit, they had a venue.
But that, he believes, is step one in an elaborate theft. This is security video provided to 13 Investigates showing how it starts. One of the individuals arrives at the rented venue to check in. Once settled, the rented equipment is dropped off and brought inside one by one. That's one of the Gross employees finishing the drop-off.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you. 10 a.m. tomorrow, right? Correct.
Step 2 is complete. Notice the equipment in the right corner of the screen. Now the stage is set for step 3.
Carry all this up there? Actually, our boss was talking, so we got the wrong equipment, so I put it in his van. I'll take it back.
Notice the rental van parked just outside. Now it's a matter of loading up the equipment. Easier said than done, especially with the large travel cases, finally deciding just to ditch them altogether. A few candies for the road, and the theft is complete.
It started to add up and become reality that we'd just been had.
Forrest filed a police report and also launched his own investigation, going on social media and found red flags right away within the industry.
12 other companies I found throughout the United States that have been hit by the same people. The same MO, the same descriptions, they did the same exact thing. Stolen credit cards, fake IDs.
I know there's a lot of crimes out there to deal with, but I think there's value in attacking the small fish because they become the big fish.
Just weeks ago, 13 Investigates told you about AV Vegas suffering a near identical loss, ripped off for almost 30 grand in expensive rental equipment. In that case, Ty Hansen from AV Vegas says a pair of thieves rented a shared workspace in Henderson, used a limo to load up the equipment, eventually getting a U-Haul and hightailed it into California. So far, no arrests.
We have been contacted by a police department out of Southern California as well, a different police department. They heard of the multiple thefts, they heard of it happening recently, and they knew that we were part of the ring.
Gross says he searched auction sites and found some of his equipment for sale. Police retrieved some of the items.
This was in Dallas, Texas. So same thieves, same MO.
But similar thefts keep happening, and Gross believes it's connected.
We've been in contact with both Ty Hansen and Forrest. Both say they have not heard of any additional arrests, nor do they have any idea where that rest of that stolen equipment is. Joe Bartels, 13 Investigates.
I've been very frustrated, very mad about it.
Jim and Rainia Hennicue just want a refrigerator that works. They bought this Kenmore at American Freight on Lone Mountain and North Decatur back in December. But in February,
I noticed the refrigerator wasn't cooling.
Jim made a quick call and a service tech was sent to the house. The culprit was a bad motherboard and fan. But getting replacement parts would take some time.
They said they would have the motherboard here by March 15th. That never happened. And we've just been without a fridge.
The couple had to throw out spoiled food. They bought a mini fridge to keep items in, including medication. Meanwhile, Jim made more calls but wasn't getting anywhere. The couple even paid for an extended warranty, but that didn't help.
I went as far as talking to the finance company who we financed it through, and they done a three-way call with the warranty center, and they got the runaround as well.
On top of everything else, Jim and Rainey were still having to make monthly payments for a fridge that doesn't work.
Basically paying for a dead horse, so to speak.
Jim was running out of patience with the store, the financing department, and the warranty company.
There were some screaming matches back and forth. It was just to the point of nobody wanted to take responsibility.
That's when Jim reached out to 13 Action News. No one with Sears Kenmore would speak with us for our story. But a few weeks later, this arrived, a new upgraded GE refrigerator.
Jim says Channel 13 made all the difference. That made us wonder, was the $400 extended warranty on Jim's fridge even worth it?
Most extended warranties for appliances and consumer electronics are not worth it.
Consumer rights attorney Peter Aldis with the Legal Aid Center of Southern Nevada says, save your money.
On average, you're going to spend a lot less money repairing things when they break instead of getting a warranty on everything.
Aldis says if you're looking into a warranty, read the contract in full. Find out when coverage begins, whether it's immediately or after the factory warranty period. Understand how mechanical failures are covered versus accidental damage. And don't feel pressured to make a quick decision.
Because you actually can buy a warranty after you purchase the product. You can buy it from a third-party company.
In the end, Jim is happy to have this new refrigerator, but says he's disappointed with the lengths he had to go to.
Knowing what I know now, I would have went somewhere else to purchase the item. You pay for a product and they're supposed to stand behind the product.
Welcome back and thanks for watching 13 Investigates. Don't forget that we're online 24/7 on our website, ktnv.com/13investigates.
The laundry list of issues that shut down Sohyang Korean Barbecue and Commercial Center is posted here on the Health District sign for all to see. Imminent health hazard of gross unsanitary conditions, pest infestation, and an excess of 45 demerits. The triple whammy hit the restaurant on Sahara and Maryland Parkway on April 14th. Let's start with the rats. Inspectors saw excessive rodent droppings throughout the back storage and dry food areas, on top of the water heater, on floors, and on shelves where food containers and equipment were kept. There was also a large cockroach walking around the main cook line. Excessive old food, dirt, and grease on floors, equipment, storage racks, and food containers made for an enticing environment for the rats and roaches to dine and breed. A large gap under the back door gave them easy access. The owner told inspectors he had not had professional pest control for the past 6 to 7 months. Other health code violations included the restaurant's only food handler licking his fingers to open a clean pair of gloves. He also touched customers' ready-to-eat food with bare hands. There was a large container of expired noodles in the fridge that was nearly 2 weeks old. Raw eggs, beef, noodles, cooked rice, and raw tuna were all thrown out due to unsafe temperatures. In-use utensils sat in lukewarm water in a container on the floor. There was also an open container of food stored on the cooler floor and an open container of raw beef stored over ready-to-eat foods. There was no sanitizer in the dish machine or on the main cook line, and open employee drinks sat on prep surfaces. The person in charge could not demonstrate food safety knowledge for the health inspector, and the inspector found there was no active managerial control of foodborne illness risk factors. The health district required Sohyang to get certified pest control services, deep clean, and schedule intervention training due to a documented history of noncompliance. Owner Jimmy Saw didn't want to discuss the violations. On the phone, he told us he's asked for reinspection later this week, but doesn't know if he'll reopen just yet. He says business has been very slow during the pandemic, and he may stay closed until more foreign tourists return to Las Vegas. For the other imminent health hazard closure, we don't have to go very far. Repeat offender Kamol Thai Cuisine is just about 100 yards away in the same commercial center. It's on Dirty Dining for the second time for the same reason as the first time, a multi-generational cockroach infestation. Kamol was shut down April 16th after inspectors found live roaches throughout the kitchen. Excessive old food and grease buildup provided a food source for the roaches, and an open back door welcomed them in. Food in the temperature danger zone included bean sprouts, cooked noodles, cut tomato, and cooked spring rolls. A plastic container sat on cut peppers. Multiple raw meats were stored in the same bin, and employee personal items, including a purse, cell phones, and beverages, were intermingled with customer food and clean utensils. No one from Kamol returned our call for comment. As for what they're telling customers, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, sort of. The health district sign that says it has to be posted in a conspicuous place is there, as is that line, but you can't tell that it's a sign shutting the restaurant down from the health district. What you can see is the restaurant's own sign saying closed for maintenance and repair, with an anticipated reopening on Thursday afternoon. Darcy Spears, 13 Investigates.
Welcome back, and thanks for watching 13 Investigates. Don't forget that we're online 24/7 on our website, ktnv.com/13investigates.
Think of it like a digital baseball card, tradable, sellable, and in this digital age, incredibly valuable.
Let's go! Here we go.
What would you pay for a piece of greatness? Rare and collectible trading cards and sports memorabilia have been around for decades. This one from Tom Brady's rookie season, selling on eBay for almost $20,000. But that's old school. New technology is unlocking a new digital realm for artists, athletes, and collectors. Enter non-fungible tokens.
Each token, the real thing could be a physical thing, it could be a digital thing. For example, digital art or music, digital music.
Professor Rajiv Kishore from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas says first, know the lingo. Fungible means items are the same, like a US dollar bill. There are millions of them with unique serial numbers, but each bill is the same value and therefore essentially the same, or fungible.
Non-fungible means two things are not exactly tradable. They are not the same value. So used cars, for example, your car and my car may be different model, but even if it's the same model, they are not the same.
Kishore says non-fungible tokens are basically a digital title for things that are unique. The concept has spread to the digital realm for things like digital art, music, and even social media content.
Jack Dorsey sold his first tweet for $2.9 million, right?
The idea that digital things, like Twitter founder and creator Jack Dorsey, can sell his tweet for 7 figures may seem like a Hail Mary, but it's real and it's exploding in popularity. Kishore says non-fungible tokens create a unique identifier for a digital file. That file can then be sold and value is created.
You are buying from someone, they are saying they are the true owner of this and that this thing has that value, and it's basically up to you to decide whether that has value or not.
Kishore says that's where the craze in cryptocurrencies come in. Items are bought and sold in online NFT marketplaces using cryptocurrency, most commonly Ethereum. Like Bitcoin, the value has soared and set new recent records. Kishore believes we're just beginning to see the potentials for NFT.
And the question everyone is now asking is, what are these tokens? Why are they being sold at these hefty valuations? What's going on?
Like the dot-com bust in the early 2000s or other bubbles that eventually burst, Kishore says there will come a time when prices for digital items and their NFTs will cool down.
So right now we are seeing in a very exotic limited domain, but ultimately this is going to become a big technology.
Kishore predicts eventually passports, driver's license, and titles for real estate could be assigned NFTs in similar ways to help streamline identification and transactions. He says the technology is so new, there are no regulations, many legal questions, and the potential for fraud.
But ultimately, trusted third parties have to come and play a role in this. There's no question on that.
If you want to get started though, here's a few steps. 1. Get a digital wallet that can accept and hold cryptocurrency. Then, select and purchase a type. Most NFT items are sold using Ethereum. Next, go to an online marketplace to see what's for sale. Buy a digital item, and it's now yours. The NFT is stored in your digital wallet until it's time to sell again.
Kishore says that eventually he sees memes and maybe even viral videos being sold using NFTs and therefore creating millions of dollars in value. Joe Bartels, 13 Investigates.
Thank you for watching. Join us again next week on your favorite streaming device for all news stories by our 13 Investigative team. I'm Trisha Keene with 13 Action News.